Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. The current cargo system in-game leaves a lot to be desired. It is very static, resource-intensive, and largely a placeholder for future systems. I wanted to talk about what's on the roadmap for cargo, hauling, smuggling, and related economy features, important updates to cargo that have yet to be visible on that roadmap, and some potentials for the mechanic too. Cargo commodity containers at the moment are one single small size. We do have different looking boxes for different types of cargo though, and some cargo boxes can be moved and picked up, admittedly. These are typically mission items or boxes that you will find when at points of interest, but it's very limited, and commodity containers that you purchase are literally just static in your hold of your ship. This leads to many problems at the moment, as each of these little boxes is an entity. This is very resource intensive on the server and client. They have been working on various sizes of cargo containers for different types of cargo, so you'll see big differences in liquids, gases, solids, and what type of sort of like commodity or item is stored in there. The larger containers are essential for having ships in the game like the Hull C. They require big boxes to be put on the cargo spindles, and if they had loads of little tiny boxes, this could cause issues, server crashes, massive degradation, things like that. They are significantly resource intensive, larger cargo containers, than having dozens of smaller entities, so we should see performance improvements potentially, or at least more in the game. Another major issue with commodity cargo containers is that once they're spawned on your ship, they're static there. If your ship is destroyed with cargo on board, there's a chance of like a percentage that it will spawn some pick-upable containers. Again, this is less than ideal. Cargo needs to be movable between ships by hand, or at least somehow in space from ship to ship without their destruction. They have previously talked about this a number of times, from pushing and pulling of containers to thrusters on crates. In the future, as well, ships will be disabled much more than destroyed, as physicalized components will mean that we no longer have health pools on ships, and individual components are individually destroyed, thus leading to a ship being disabled until repaired rather than destroyed. And obviously, you want to be able to loot ships. You want to be able to have pirates rather than just pummeling a ship into oblivion, wanting to disable it so that they can steal its delicious loots. The sort of different sizes of cargo containers, getting larger ones, getting lots of different types, is something that they might be trying to push for by 3.8 December of 2019. Because the Hull C is there, it would make sense for at least some of that to be ready for then. Physicalized player inventories can and could lead to more types of cargo. We are getting more cargo in the forms of guns, clothing, armor. When physicalized inventories are in, then players will have to equip items on the fly, but physically from areas. So what I mean by that is that you'd need armor in sort of like an armor locker to be able to change into that armor. If you want a weapon, you'd have to take it off a weapon rack. You don't have magic bags of holding once we have physicalized player inventories, so you'd store these on ships, and at some point these items should be sellable in-game as well as purchasable, opening up a lot more items to trade in. And we've actually seen previously some of the crates that we could have in the future that would allow the sort of like stowing and storage of multiple weapons, sort of like pistols or rifles, whatever, being then treated as cargo, and then you can put a lid on the container, but basically it sort of like stores them in like giant gun racks in boxes. Smuggling stuff. So part of the expanded cargo systems that Cloud Imperium are working on includes smuggling. In the shorter term for 3.6, we have the black market and law system updates. Security forces will be searching for stolen and illicit items and then respond appropriately. NPCs and shops will be able to distinguish between legitimate and stolen merchandise, so we should see places to be able to sell that same stolen stuff. This will see some cargo illegal, and if you're detected in the short term, you may be attacked by police or security and get a crime rating. This will add to the risk and reward of smuggling. You should see narcotics being worth a lot more again from sort of like patches like this onward, because you have a risk in taking them from A to B. Eventually, they've said that they want you to be able to buy cargo containers that shield the scanning of that cargo, places that you can hide goods in your ship, and the NPCs may board your ship to inspect your cargo, things like that. But that sort of stuff is quite far off. Scanning a ship can tell you how much cargo they've got aboard, but in the future we should have a lot more potential data exposed to us. Maybe what type of cargo, if it's gas, liquid, or maybe even more specifics, depending on your scanners and how well their sort of like cargo is protected and how much time you spend scanning them. Buying and selling cargo. So the range of what you can buy and sell and trade routes available in Star Citizen at the moment is extremely limited. Some commodities are artificially capped with the amount you can buy and sell every sort of like 1 to 2 minute cycle as well. And this can be incredibly frustrating. There are plans for commodity transfer timers though, a planned feature of 3.9, so the first quarter of 2020. This allows the automatic loading and unloading of cargo, but requires time to have that completed. With that duration dependent on the location you're in, the current level of demand for the service, do you want to pay an additional fee to expedite the process, and sort of like the quantity of materials and boxes being transferred. Ships will be unavailable until such processes have been complete, and that's going to really alleviate a lot of problems with cargo, in my opinion. This sort of like adds it's going to take this long to unload this sort of like weight of cargo, and then you can plan that into cargo hauling across the system, and you can actually do other stuff while that process is being done. They have been building features to lead to a dynamic economy as well, meaning there will be fluctuations in the goods and prices of commodities and stuff based on supply, demand, simulation, stuff that's going on, and missions all through that deeper subsumption system. This will have much more dynamic trade routes, commodities will change in profitability, and should sort of like see a more booming economy when it comes to cargo hauling and different routes that you take every day that will constantly be changing. Ship-to-station docking and cargo stations. Ships larger than the landing pads on planets and some of the stations that we have need somewhere to land and be able to spawn and deal with their cargo. But also, it's not particularly convenient to bring large cargo ships from planet to planet and have them land and escape from atmosphere every time. Some ships will be too heavy to leave. For larger ships and budding haulers, they're going to have cargo depots, and these are also planned in 3.9 as sort of like well-positioned, close to planets and jump points facilities. These depots are going to be the first port of call for haulers and cargo ships. They should allow for more trade routes and delivery points around the universe. There will be automated and more occupied versions of these across the verse. And we're still going to be getting, sort of like before then, more variations and different types of rest stop. So you'll see a lot of trade going on there. But these cargo sort of like depots are likely to be places where larger ships can ship-to-station dock, and that ship-to-station docking tech should allow larger ships to dock to other large stations as well, admittedly. Ship-to-station docking like that is planned for 3.8, so December 2019. A huge amount of cargo improvements are effectively planned for 3.9. Not only the cargo depots and the transfer timers, but also ways to expose commodity values and information to players. There's an accounting app in the works for the Mobiglass, displaying a variety of information about a player's active financial commitments, including recurring rentals, insurance, organisation membership fees, and associated benefits. It also allows for such commitments to be extended or cancelled. Economy display terminals like billboards, screens, and terminals are going to be there as well, allowing for real-time display of economic information, including commodity prices, available missions, payments, retail sale events, area threat levels. Having this information should allow for players to more easily choose what routes and commodities to trade in, but also give pirates the information they need to set traps and work out where players and NPCs will be trading. Player interdiction is obviously something that is planned and needed, but not on the roadmap yet. NPCs have it in-game currently, where some ships will force players out of Quantum Drive and then not allow them to go back in until they're either far enough away or have destroyed the ship that's causing the quantum interdiction. With that in mind, escorts are going to be something players may want to consider pretty much from 3.6 onwards. I mean, in 3.5 it's still a thing, it's just there's not that many reasons to cargo haul compared to what 3.6 and beyond may bring. They talked recently about expanding service beacons to have more functions, so players might be able to set things up like transporting cargo, pick up and deliver type contracts for other players and NPCs to do. Again, not on the roadmap yet, but there are plans for physicalized, to at least some degree, storage and hangars and places to store your cargo beyond just your ship. This is going to be important for future hoarding and selling commodities at the right time, and these sort of like areas will cost you money to rent. Some commodities in the future might be useful to players as well. Fuel, food, materials for outpost building. We don't know to what extent though, or how this will be handled yet, but it's suspected that some commodities will be used more than just for the simulation purposes, and will actually have value as usable items. The whole economy gameplay is important as well. Star Citizen will have simulated use of commodities, reasons that they change in price. The dynamic mission system will make use of this information to generate missions, from deliver 100 tons of iron here, to escort missions, protecting shipments, to clearing out pirate bases that constantly intercept shipments or whatever. It will affect the way that areas look and feel. I am excited to get involved with deeper, more dynamic trading and cargo hauling. This major aspect of the game's economy has a huge amount of potential gameplay, and some players genuinely love the idea of space trucking for most of their time in-game. It appeals to sort of like that Euro Truck Simulator type gameplay, but also the fact that you're generating in-game money, toiling for progress is to some a fun prospect. Another massive pull to this kind of gameplay will be when we have less or no more resets. So currently every 3 months with the major release of a patch, they reset all the sort of UEC progress that you might have made and all UEC purchases. Now, in the future, when you can keep your UEC progress, there's going to be a lot more reasons to play and cargo haul and chill out and do that sort of stuff regularly in the evenings. Don't worry, if you don't have a giant cargo ship as well, in Alpha 3.6 there will be ship rentals, and obviously you can purchase ships in-game at the moment even now, and we should get more and more of a range of ships, so they should have you covered to some degree. But tell me what you think. Do you like the idea of being a space trucker? Are you hauling in the game even now? I'm very much looking forward to 3.9. I know that's at the first quarter 2020, but there should be some pretty good cargo and economy features in 3.6 that we should see that expand that out. But once we have sort of like full persistence and no more resets and stuff like that, the gameplay there should get a lot better too. Every month we have a ship giveaway on the channel for May 2019. It's for another Drake Corsair exploration ship, donated in the name of the People's Radio. They are a 24/7 radio station providing music in the Verse News and in Law commercials, and are operated by the People's Alliance of Levski. To be in for a chance of winning that ship, be subscribed to my YouTube channel and comment on any of my videos made during the month. Links to the People's Radio and more information on the giveaway in the description below. If you are looking for a gaming PC or to upgrade, then instead consider Shadow Cloud gaming PCs, which leverage your internet connection and a data center to turn any device, your old PC, a phone, a tablet, a laptop, whatever, into a powerful Windows 10 gaming environment. It's subscription-based, so won't break the bank, and is a fantastic alternative to buying your own PC. If you are looking for a VPN, then I use NordVPN as well. It's mega cheap, allows me to upload, play games, browse with more security and privacy than I would otherwise have. For both of those, links are below, and use the code BoredGamer to receive a discount on either. BoredGamer is supported by its community via Patreon, the YouTube join button, Subscribestar, Twitch, direct donations, people throwing ships at me. A massive thank you to everyone that goes the extra mile to support me. It genuinely does help. Just like everything else, links are below for people that would like to get involved with that as well. But if you want to give feedback, there are details there that you can get onto my Discord, discord.gg/BoredGamer, or contact@boredgamer.co.uk if you want to send me an email. Just get in contact, give me feedback. Whatever your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you.